Hello and welcome to Automat Live Coding. To those who are new to Automat, which can also be found on automat.org, is a utility application that can control your desktop. This is what we are doing on this stream. We are writing this application, so expect a lot of heavy C++ kind of thinking. The way so for the past maybe 2 weeks we've been optimizing it a bit, so now we are getting pretty insane FPS values, at least most of the time when nothing changes. When I move the screen, you can see that the FPS, the minimum FPS, is what's actually relevant for us, drops. So it drops even below 1000. So like, the rendering speed is actually pretty decent at this point. We are kind of happy with it. However, while optimizing, we have broken some things. So WASD, which can be used to navigate in Automat, right? I can navigate with WASD. However, when I release those keys and try to press them again, I cannot navigate anymore. This is a bug that we introduced recently because we started caching objects in textures, so they are not being redrawn all the time in a busy loop. They are only being drawn when they need to. So now, for instance, Automat has rendered a texture and it's just like flipping this texture to the screen a couple thousand times per second. So this FPS value here, it's not 100% true. The FPS may seem high, but in reality it's... When I start zooming in and out, so that we actually do busy redraw, you can see that the actual FPS is much lower. It's actually pretty poor. So we still have a couple of things to fix. Today we will be doing the WASD.
Knight says,
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Knight. And we have a lot of animations in the user interface. And I've been asked by some people online about techniques that I'm using to do those animations, and I guess not everybody is interested in watching all of the streams. We have probably hundreds of hours of streams already. So I will be giving a talk in 2 weeks at this conference. Causal Islands, Berlin. It's this conference, if you're familiar with Strangeloop, this conference aims to be a similar type of conference. So different ideas about how programming could look like. And yeah, I guess I will probably test run the presentation on stream before the conference, just so that you can kind of see how it works out. Yeah, so I will be doing a presentation about animation techniques. Specifically, so for those who watched the streams, we have some cool utilities. Let me open VS Code. Some cool utilities that I haven't actually seen anywhere else. If you go to our animation, so we have those twinning functions that work regardless of FPS value, and they don't... We have those animation utilities that maintain velocity, so that the object is moving continuously. Something like that could be really nice if this was part of CSS, for instance, because this is like those functions, they work very well in user interface animation. When you have an object on screen, it moves, and you want to avoid sudden jumps in position, in velocity. Those functions can be used to animate this smoothly. This is an extension of a very well-known trick.
YouTube stream is unlisted. I came from X.
Thanks, let me fix that. It is unlisted indeed. Cool, thanks. So I've been saying that those tricks that we are using to animate stuff smoothly, the sine animation and the spring animation, they are actually the extension of another common trick, which is so there is a different formulation of that. Hey Dana. So there is a different formula which looks like that, which is very often used in user interface animation, which causes exponential approach of the x towards the target value. So this function that we have here is just basically the same formula with some extra signaling so that we can pause the animation when it finishes. But generally, yeah, this is the way that this formula works. And there is some nuance to this formula as well, because there is a subtraction here, and floating points are notoriously bad at subtracting values, because the CPU, it has to shift the floating point values. This is where we lose the most accuracy. So there is actually a special function in C, which is computing the value of exponent of x minus 1. Yeah, so there are just so many small things here that you have to pay attention to animate stuff. But yeah, this will be the contents of the presentation in 2 weeks. Okay, let's go to widget.hh. So this is the function that we want to change. So we have a function that can react to mouse button presses. So when I press a button on the mouse when hovering over an object, I can associate an action with this mouse button. That action is an object that can be then updated when the mouse moves, and it can receive the end notification when the mouse leaves it. Now we want to create something similar, but for keyboard keys, and it probably doesn't make sense to duplicate all of this infrastructure. All of the code should essentially be the same between this and this, between button down action and the new key down action. So we have to change this. We have to somehow add maybe we can also get rid of this deprecated function then. Let me fix this. get rid of this capture. We'll actually change this to a regular button down action. Now we don't have a deprecated function anymore. Let me quickly test if this object still works. Okay, seems to work. I can drag this. It doesn't react to mouse hover. But I guess this is fine. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. So we have this button down action, which we will rename, and we will change the argument that we are passing here. There is, so instead of pointer button, we would like to pass something like a variant, either pointer button or ANSI key. Yeah, one of those. Those are two enumerations. This is a tiny enumeration which contains, those are all of the keys that we have on regular ANSI keyboard. Maybe let's make it a struct.
Zy19 says.
Good morning, mister.
Hi, Zion. So what I'm going to do here is hacky, but I really don't like C++ variant.
How is you today, me brother?
I'm good. I'm about to complain about C++ variant. So, in principle, this is what we need. This is a type-safe union, so it would allow us to represent both enums. ANSI key and pointer button.
I really need her help and knowledge with my project. If you could guide me in the right direction.
Yeah, so what are you doing? Yeah, so the stuff I don't like about the variant, there is no good specialization of variant for enums. So enums can be compressed really efficiently. We're not doing that here. And the API for this is just terrible. But yeah, Zion, so what are you doing? Do you have GitHub repository? Or is this like a school project?
Well, I'm a motorcycle rider, and in my helm I have an intercom system, Cinetens, which is connected to my iPhone through Bluetooth. But the issue is that if I go out and ride with 4 friends, and they don't have exact same type of intercom, we can't easily connect to each other and communicate. I'm trying to build a bridge where we can use an app that we all can easily connect to and start talking no matter what type of brand we're using.
Yeah, so something like a walkie-talkie for different systems. I don't know much about those are those Sena systems, do they use some long-range radio? I mean, because, yeah, I know, but this works without internet, I guess, because I know that, truck drivers have their CB radios.
This CROD is best example. They have mesh and Bluetooth too, if you don't have internet, yes.
It is a fun problem, a challenging one.
But it's very rare that we are at a place where I don't have access to internet.
But this is a motorcycle helmet, right? So
I've looked into Weber TC.
okay, so the communication could happen over internet. It doesn't have to go over peer-to-peer.
Yes.
Yeah, WebRTC sounds like it could be like it's a good protocol just like any other. But yeah, so I wonder, so what are you actually thinking about? Is the intercom system difficult to interface? I mean, you cannot access microphone or speakers or something like that?
Yes, for some reason WebRT only access the phone mic even though that the intercom is connected.
And you are using, I guess, Android, right? Or iPhone.
I'm using iOS, yes, don't you know?
So there could be an issue. So the issue could be that the device doesn't register itself as a microphone in iOS. I don't know, if you connect any other microphone, does iPhone allow you to use it as audio source? Or does it always default to the built-in microphone?
Yes.
I guess if you're using some, like, headset, then it should expose this microphone. So I'm thinking, what could be causing the operating system from exposing some microphones? For example, if you have those in-ear, headsets, but not yours.
If I'm using the intercom to call you from my phone, then it uses the intercom's microphone.
So there is definitely... So it's also possible that maybe the browser somehow, for some reason, maybe browser doesn't like external microphones. So either operating system or a browser, or maybe the microphone has some weird drivers. Those are free options. So option 1 is maybe the browser is filtering your external microphone. From the list of system microphones.
Could be. That's why I wonder how Discord has solved this issue.
But you can use the intercom on Discord on iOS, right? Okay, so the issue must be in the browser.
Because I can use the intercom in Discord XD.
But okay, another question. When you're using Discord, are you using the web application or are you using the standalone iOS application?
Yes. I'm using the web application. Dart.
Okay, so the way I would approach this, if you have your own code which uses WebRTC, so find some function that you are using, for example, something that initiates the WebRTC protocol, and open Discord, open the developer, F12 tools, and see how they are calling this. Maybe they are passing a different parameter, or maybe they are just configuring it differently so that it allows,
URL.
So Discord may be using a specific way of just initializing the API that gives them access to this extra microphone. And maybe the example code just initializes this in a different way.
I wonder if there is something missing from here.
Anyway. Okay, so I can show you maybe on a different webpage. There is this Video Ninja. Okay, now, so when I have a website which they do WebRTC. Video Ninja is kind of like Discord, they also do WebRTC. When I want to kind of snoop and see what they are doing, I can just open this console. I can click this button, and then sources. Can open debugger and click pause. Right. Now I click cancel, but this kind of paused the application and I see exactly how they have been initiating screen sharing. So they are using some Fluent API to daisy chain code, but if I just go to the start of this function, yeah, this is what they are using. Navigator, media devices, get display media, passing some constraints, and I can see how they are constructing those arguments. If you do similar thing for Discord, you can see how they are connecting to your microphone, and you can literally connect in the same way.
Oh. Time for the tips.
I don't know much about this API. I guess WebRTC is probably similar. There is probably some request to the browser to list like audio devices. You can also, if you have source code, you can also try just putting a breakpoint. This is another way to do this without pausing.
Well, I have a much netter starting point now. Tie a lot for the help.
And this is the kind of bisect approach. You find something which breaks, you find something that works, and you're trying to find the difference that makes them. So in this example, right, your application is something that doesn't work, Discord is something that works. So it's a good signal that the problem is solvable. You just have to start copying over the Discord approach until it stops working, and this will tell you what's the secret. I don't get what you're saying. And then
You need to review my last message. Her chatbot found it offensive, ex-Dewey.
let's see. My chatbot isn't smart enough to find any message offensive. All should be working.
I know we're busy, but could you help me also understand WebSockets? I've tried to Google and understand it from reading about it. I kinda understand the use case. but specifically, how can I write my own sock?
So we have a tiny implementation of WebSockets inside Gatekeepers. Inside Gatekeeper. This is another kind of application that we have. It's not strongly related to Automat. This is a software for routers that uses the same kind of code base as Automat. But anyway, so if you need general help about WebSockets, just read online manuals. I'm not going to do a better job than, people who are doing presentations on WebSockets.
I kinda envy you. You can get back to what you were doing even though you are interacting with the chat. I would have been distressed for next 5 weeks.
So this is really not... So there are some things which are hard to get back to, but this code base I know very well, so it's always on the back of my head. Okay, we will rename this function. It's not going to be called button down. I like this action trigger. So the thing is, we have those actions, those objects, and we are connecting them to buttons or keys. And we are calling them triggers. Trigger is a nice name, because we can say that a key can be a trigger, or a mouse button can be a trigger, or even a joystick button can be a trigger, something that triggers an action. So how do we call a function? Let's see some treble Java style names.
Yeah, I see how smoothly you're navigating through it, and you know exactly what you're creating. My problem is, I know in theory what I want and how it should work, but the implementation itself is hard, even though with that many years of experience.
Yeah, because you're not... the stuff that you are doing is goal-oriented. Goal-oriented stuff is not great for learning, despite what many people say. There are a lot of good motivational streamers that advise people to write their games, but this can be emotionally, draining, because that's very... The whole idea with programming is you keep encountering roadblocks, and you just have to recognize when you have hit one, because you often don't even realize, and try another way. And many goals are just too hard. It's if you want to make games, a better approach is to just download a game engine and start playing with it, and just learning basic functions and trying to build something out of them, but without any overarching, big goal, without a big project that you're working towards.
Oh, that's a new perspective. What would you suggest?
Yeah, it's like the same approach that kids follow when they play with Legos. So when you buy a Lego set, you get a piece of, a set of pieces, and then you can try building stuff out of them. But so my...
The chat is way too slow. You have already answered it.
There is a reason for that. I have a custom code which actually waits until I stop speaking, until it starts talking, so that it doesn't interrupt me. So when I stop speaking, I have to wait for 3 seconds, and only then the TTS is going to play back. Anyway, so I was mentioning Lego approach. So when kids get a set of Lego pieces, they play with them, and by playing with them, they kind of learn what they can build, what's kind of within their reach. If you get like a tiny set of Lego pieces...
Okay, I will try that approach with discrete math.
What Lego pieces sets do we have? Okay, let's say you get something like this, a Minecraft set. You're not going to build a spaceship out of that, or a Batmobile. You can only, out of those pieces, build, stuff that can be built out of those pieces. And with learning, programming is also like that. You kind of collect more and more pieces, so you can build more and more advanced stuff. But starting with a goal of building like a spaceship out of Lego pieces, it's harder, because you don't know, you don't have the pieces that's necessary to build it. So it's if you're learning, it's better to start like a bottom-up approach, not top-down. So instead of having a big project, go through the first tutorials for the programming language or a game engine, and then see what you can build using those techniques there.
Correct.
Okay. Stuff still works. So the next step is we are going to replace this pointer button with this new class. And that should be almost drop-in replacement. So I should be able to just put action trigger here.
Gene says.
Hello.
Hi, Gentin. Jatin. Okay, I guess we need to include compare. Ambiguous. Okay.
Did you complete your project of Owl?
Yeah. It works pretty smoothly. So we have an owl that can record keystrokes. So I just type keystrokes. On my keyboard layout it looks weird, but when I play it back and put my cursor here, it can replay my macro.
Nice.
And we are moving towards release. The roadmap is actually... I think we've finished all of the hardest pieces on the roadmap. So today we are doing this part. We'll also fix those things. And those are all small things. So I guess on Friday we might actually play with sounds. I still don't know how to implement sounds, so we'll have to pick a file format, figure out how to play sounds. Yeah, we'll have to get some sounds. Maybe we'll have some placeholder sounds from Freesound. Then we will have to record some sounds. Yep. So right now we also have to figure out what sounds to what events should have a sound. For example, key presses, mouse button presses, grabbing objects from the toolbar. Dropping objects into trash, maybe for recording macros. And all of those sounds should be fairly subtle, but they should be kind of nice still. So I think we will spend some time doing that. Maybe I guess more than a week. It depends how it goes. I know that picking sounds, it takes a lot of time. And doing this on stream is probably... I don't think that would work. Then we do sanitization, GitHub, daily builds, and pushing the... I call this MVP. But I guess a better name would be alpha. So this is the first version that can do something. So should I just reverse the argument order? I don't get this. Yeah, we still have this issue. I could drop the const we could do that. Okay, let's finish the replacements. So this will be action trigger. What's the issue? Okay. Let's just replace all of them. We have more functions to override. Okay, that was a fairly big refactoring, but I like it. Now we have a generic way of getting actions out of objects. That was the big addition, this new class. I want to change that enum to enum class. So I have to change the scoping. There should be a way to find a regular expression group. We'll just go through everyone. Thanks. Okay, now we should be able to add this keyword here. Okay. We could have a nicer function even, instead of 2 underlying 2 int, something like that. Okay, so Automat is working, so that means the refactoring didn't broke too much. We can now rename those symbols. I will just call them left, middle and right, because that feels repetitive with pointer button. And now the pointer button is more similar to ANSI key. Okay, so the infrastructure is in place now. We have the find action method. I guess now is time to use it. Let's go to window HH. Okay, so So the place we used to move the window was in the draw function. But not this draw function, this draw function. Here. Let's create a new field here. Move velocity. We will initialize it to 0. Okay, and that thing here, this is equal to 10 centimeters per second, because we are measuring everything in meters. So we have that. Let's create a move camera action. Cool. I think that other part should be in the distractor. I know it's not symmetric, but Yeah, I guess I should document the action lifetime here. Nice. What game are you making? Oh, nice. Is there a DLC already? I thought the game was still in early access. Maybe it's not. But I guess it is a bad sign if okay, so the game was released. It had a full release. Okay, I must have missed it. Yeah, I wanted to say it's a bad sign when the DLC is being designed before the game was released, but the game was released, so that's fine. I didn't play it, but this is actually my type of game.
Knight says.
For stream.
So there are some games that are very hard to automate, and this is one of them. This is a strategy game, essentially. Yeah.
This flower has no right to be this high resolution.
I built like a couple of higgledy-piggledy windy roads. That road I just built is there now.
Ja, wie hat ein Entwickler das geschafft? Wie geht sowas? Du fragst es dich die ganze Zeit.
You peasant bastards! Get the logging camp up or I...
Work. Can I rotate?
Bárbara llevando su...
Manor lords.
Unfortunately, Automat isn't going to be able to play that game. At least not anytime soon. I think so, yeah. I enjoyed all of the theme parks, all of the sim cities, city skylines. This feels like the same kind of game, so absolutely.
JSweep23 says,
Hello there.
Hey, hello.
Knight says,
No copyright Spotify playlist. 5NP Ils Blå. Bemortigkeit var internet.
I'm surprised by TTS attempting to try to read that. I said why I don't trust the copyright-free playlists. Because quite often the authors are releasing songs for on Creative Commons. They can be downloaded from anywhere online, right? They are actually doing a good job making them kind of easy to access. But there are copyright trolls who are then claiming rights to those songs, and they are sending false copyright strikes. And there is no way to protect against them on YouTube.
Understand. I don't.
Play something, whatever. Okay. Yeah, I don't have Spotify configured. It's not going to be that fast. We have some music, all of this music is actually auto-generated from Suno. I still have a long list of songs to actually include. If you have, you seem to have a better taste in music than me. So if you create some songs on Suno, I can pull them in on the stream. So we can do that, because if we have those auto-generated songs, they cannot be copyrighted, or they cannot be claimed by the trolls. So they are slightly safer online. So this is why I am no longer deleting live streams on YouTube. Now I can just keep them on there, because I'm not worried about strikes anymore.
None of them are good except Scott. How can you listen to them on every stream?
You mean Scott Buckley? He's good, yeah. But Scott Buckley makes more of movie music, more like soundtracks. Even they are not really great for streams. What? Okay. I was afraid that action depends on Skia, which would be terrible. Okay. Essentially, I want to copy this code. Instead of using a map, we could also have just an array. Yeah, array will be better. Okay. Now we should do the same in key up. I think this is a good idea. We should call update path also here. I don't know if this works. Let's log something. Okay, we are only checking the last object in the path. Cool. So now we have fairly high FPS. A couple thousand. And WASD properly wakes up the rendering. When the window loses focus, we could cancel this action. So when I open another window, just that dummy window, I press the down arrow. When I switch the focus, Automat still thinks it's pressed. Going from right to left doesn't quite work as it should. I can press left, right, this works. I will log distractors so that we can see when we actually stop the velocity. Oh, I see. That worked fine, we just need to invalidate the window. Also fun thing, when I hover over an object and press the button, a keyboard button, now it thinks I'm pressing a mouse button. So some actions that don't probably check what button is being pressed, and they have issues. Okay, we can submit all of that. GUI connection widget. Connections can only be tracked with left mouse button and all of those other things. Yep. So this is done. The last thing we have to do, so that we are done with this optimization, is to make sure that the background animations, we have some. They should keep the animation running as long as we have those contours. We shouldn't stop the animation redraw. Where do we call this? Apparently here. There was something weird there, something unnecessary. Probably also here. So the function pre-draw children doesn't really need to invoke itself recursively because draw children calls it. Anyway, that function and the predraw function, they should return animation phase. Now we need to fix the implementations. And inside widget.cc when we actually call the pre-draw this function. So we have to propagate it out. That should work. Let's see. And not all animations. I think the radar should work. Okay, so the radar is being drawn by GUI connection widget. Okay, so if radar is active, the animation should continue. Let's see now. Nice. That contour, I don't remember what exactly is drawing it. Maybe location. Nope, this is the shadow. Maybe here. Okay, this is drawn below objects. So it has to be drawn by either the machine which is unlikely but possible. Now it's just calling regular draw. Maybe it's this action. Maybe this is what's drawing this. No. Okay, this highlight. This is what we need to find. Where is it used? So this is the problem. When I grab this connection, for some reason it doesn't really cause the invalidation. Oh, I know why. Because the location doesn't have any cache. Yep. So if I run this with regular Automat, it should show the error.
Amphafrita Bree says,
I recently started using Vim BTUBU.
Nice. I actually had to start using Vim when I was at school. It was a requirement. There was literally an exam from Vim.
Also, I'm not gonna be here for a while, like always.
I wonder why window is not in that row cache. It should be. That will also probably not work. That should work. Okay, so now we have those animations. When I grab this object, it shows the radar, and the radar also keeps the animation running. We have some of those warnings, but at the same time, things seem to be running okay, so I'm not very worried about those here. So this is done, which concludes the widget draw caching. So the stuff that we've been working for the past 2 or more weeks is done. We could try another look at the flame graph, just out of curiosity. Let's see. So first I will run Automat and create 3 of every object. So that we have a challenging scene to render. Interesting. So dragging those objects sometimes causes animation to get stuck. Huh. Let's also put 3 number inputs here. Oh, and 3 timers. Right, we have a nice complex machine. I can close this. Oh, actually, we have a saved state here, but okay. So let's run it. Let's see how this works. Interestingly, still the issue was the drawing code. However, it is like we want to have more than 30 FPS on the bug build. This is what we wanted. And once the state stabilizes, we get that. Yeah, I can move objects around. Maybe 10 FPS. So 10 FPS is slightly small. It's probably because we redraw all of the shadows and contours. This is what's probably slowing down the dragging. Why do we get stuck? I think that dragging bug deserves to be fixed. So you can see that the rendering is asleep because we are getting ridiculously high FPS. And when I hover over a button which has a highlight, this highlight animation wakes the animation loop and it causes the object to snap to its position. And the same happens for the toolbar. When I hover over the toolbar also wakes the animation loop. Okay, that seems to have fixed it. Cool. Cool. So, optimization complete. The next step is adding sounds. I mean, optimization complete for now. In the future, we will optimize it a little bit better so that we have asynchronous rendering. I think we have this in the stuff for future. We have some notes about this, but Actually, the way to actually make Automat fast, like really fast, is to split rendering and logic so that it shouldn't happen on the same render loop. Now, when we have a timeline and it has, let's create a lot of connections. Lots of connections. It should still be fairly fast. Cool. So we have some weird things happening, but the FPS it's not that bad. It's good enough for the first release. So after we do this first release, we will probably switch to multiple threads. We already have kind of multiple threads, but I want to have Automat to be kind of more thread, I don't even know what to call this, thread aware. So that when there is just one thread, for instance, when there is no render thread, there will be just one thread which renders the logic. And we could have like multiple threads that would, for instance, a couple of objects could use one thread, a couple of different objects could use another thread to do their work. And rendering could be done even different third thread. Okay, so the issues that we have is, one more is that when we add new tracks, let's collect small bugs. So we have the issue with this connector, which I have to move the object for the connector to wake up. And then creating a loop like this one causes the connector to disappear. So now I have a loop, but I can't really stop it. I mean, I can, but yeah. So next stream on Friday we are going to look into the sound design and we will start adding sounds to our automat. Alright, so that would be it for today. See ya next time. Bye.